And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Star Chronicles Dallas Cowboy podcast. And we're here with some breaking news, and not some good news, but it has to deal with the injury of Trevon Diggs. Gone for the season, ACL tear. Got Ron, a.k.a. the Starstruck Fan, with me, and Lisa Lee. What are your thoughts on this, Lisa?
Hit the alert button. After talking to some of y'all, okay, maybe it's not the end of the world, but when I initially heard it, it was like, well, this is why we can't have nice things. It's like there's always something. Finally, Jerry goes out and he gets some free agents and he does some things that we've never seen him do before. And I'm like, okay, we're finally putting together a solid team, a cohesive team. And then this happens, and it's like Jerry made a deal with the devil at some point. So probably that's why this happened to happen.
With Jerry Jones, you never do. You never really know with that guy. Injuries happen in the league, and it's an unfortunate thing, and the reality is stuff we've seen a couple of key injuries happen already with this season starting, and eventually our number was going to come up sooner or later. That's kind of just the way the thing works. What do you think, Ron?
It is very interesting. Normally I have a lot of insight in but I don't know. I don't know what to think, because we've got Gilmore now, who's new to the team. So I think it would have been different had we had all guys that we were familiar with and have seen a lot of action out of in a Cowboys uniform. But now we have Gilmore, and I think I've shared this on one of our previous podcasts. We're not even certain Gilmore is going to play all 17 games this season. We can hope that. We really do. But he's had some history with it, with a little bit of age on him of missing some games. So what happens? So I guess that's my concern, which I know it hasn't happened. So that's why I'm kind of just hesitant to say, oh, we're going to be great, because I had already, in my eyes, think Gilmore's going to probably be out a couple of games this season. I did not expect to lose Diggs for the season, though, however. So the depth is going to, I don't know. We're going to see how this thing plays out starting this weekend.
I personally, I saw the news and I kind of sunk in my chair for a second. And I was like, well, okay, what's the most positive way I can look at this scenario? This situation, being a Cowboy fan, I'm going to go ahead and say that, yes, it's a problem, but it's not catastrophic. This is a whole new football team, whole new ideology, whole new skill set. These guys are go-getters. They're monsters. And I just feel like they're going to ride on the back of Micah Parsons throughout this whole ordeal. I do think we got a little bit of depth. Granted, Bland had 5 interceptions last year. This year, but that's playing in the slot. So the coverage is going to be a little bit different. But I think this is a level of personnel. This is the one time in Dallas Cowboy fandom that we're going to sit there and say that next man up really means some shit this time. It's not just going to be a catchphrase. Next man up means exactly what it's supposed to mean this time around, because the makeup of this team is just different. Yeah. And I haven't put my finger on what's different about it just yet, but it's different. These people want to win, and yes, it could have been like me and Lisa were talking earlier. It could have been a magical season and everything intact, but I think it'd be even more magical under these circumstances as the season goes forward. What's your thoughts, Lisa?
I really want to be on the roses and rainbows and butterflies whacking with y'all. I do, but I'm just not there yet, because you say this is a different team. Okay, kind of, but a lot of the same people were here last year and the year before that. So explain to me what makes this different. Did they not want to win last year or the year before?
I just think there's just some type of cultural shift in this team. I cannot put my finger on it, Maybe it's because Anthony Brown's gone. Who knows? There's something different about this team.
But that's part of it.
With just Mike. I mean, yeah, but at the same time, Anthony Brown got way more blame than what he deserved in some situations too. I mean, it's a reality that he has
like
some
saying
boneheaded
Maurice.
plays.
That's like saying Mo Claiborne got too much blame. Absolutely not.
I don't know. I mean, I just think there's more going on in the team still, even with Anthony Brown at that particular.
Well,
moment.
Sure, because you didn't have a front seven. You didn't get a push up front, but
but I just feel that this team it just culturally just feels different. Everything about it just
I get
feels
that.
different.
Once I saw Micah's post, I felt a little bit better. And I get it. I have nothing to do with it. Like, there's nothing I can control or do. But I told Troy earlier, this is kind of all about me because I was like we talked about on the podcast the other day, like, it's amazing walking in, going to watch a game or whatever, wherever you're at home or outside or at the game or whatever, knowing you have potentially 2 of the top 10 defensive players in the league on your team. And I think people are going to – I get it that people are going to rally around the shift. And if ever there was a time that you wanted Dan Quinn as your coordinator, like, this is it, because he can coordinate around their strengths. I get that. But golly, it was – I mean, it's – yeah.
Yeah, but let me clarify something, too, about the making it about you. Because you're making it about you is completely different than some of these other fans in Cowboy fandom.
I mean, it's fine if you want to put me in that bucket. It's fine.
No. It's a clear difference. We're like, oh, Lord Jesus, oh, my days, oh, Lord. I mean, just shut the hell up. I mean, it's just, they do it all. They do this the same thing every week with some of these people standing there. They ain't doing nothing, just standing there hugging each other and stuff. But anyways, what's your thoughts, Ron? I mean, does it seem different to you? Or maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me with the pie in the sky. I don't know.
No, it's definitely different because that's what has me still feeling, a little confident here, or more than probably just a little confidence, because like you said, it is different. And like you said, you don't know if it's really much of a difference with Anthony Brown or however you phase it. Oh, it's definitely much different, because I tell you right now, if Anthony Brown was here instead of Gilmore and we were going into our next couple of games with Anthony Brown as our number 1 guy and Deron Bland opposite of him, it's going to look a lot different in that. So it's different now that we have Gilmore now moving into the 1 and you bringing Bland in now into the number 2. So, yeah, it's definitely different. And I feel confident only because we did make the acquisition of Gilmore. And as long as Gilmore is in the lineup, I'm going to have confidence. But if he has to miss a game, I am going to start.
I'm going to need you to take it back. Take it back out of the universe. Take it back. Yes, take it back.
I'm taking that. So let's just focus on the fact that I'm confident right now in the team because Gilmore's in there. All of our guys, all the rest of the guys are still there. So, yes, Starstruck is confident because everybody else is there. That's my stance as of right now.
Does this add pressure on the offense at this particular moment, Lisa?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think the pressure was already on the offense because, and I think I talked about this, when we recorded earlier this week, was at some point if the defense gets 4 turnovers and all you get out of that is 12 points, at some point there's going to be a rub there. Like, Mike is going to lose his religion and be like, what the entire hell? Like, I'm giving you the ball. And you're only getting 3. Like, at some point that becomes a problem. So I feel like there's a little bit of extra pressure. There's pressure on the offense anyway because of who the quarterback is and because what this team is. Like, they've been talking about, you can't talk about anything. They can't talk about anything but Dak Prescott because of one bad season that he had. So, like, I don't think this injury adds anything extra to what was already there for the offense.
Okay. I mean, I agree with that. What's your thoughts, Ron?
No, I think it's good. But I don't, because of Bland being there, we got the Cardinals coming up this week. I don't really, because right now, Diggs' numbers was looking really good. He's got like a 1.0 percentage of giving up a reception. But then I had to put it in perspective and be like, okay, we did have Daniel Jones And then we did have Zach Wilson or whoever last week. So I had to reel it back in and say, hey, now we got Dobbs coming up this weekend that, Bland could come in and pretty much probably do the same thing. I think the only concern or any lack of confidence any fan can probably have is just because of the lack of familiarity. We just haven't seen Bland and Gilmore around. We've seen what Gilmore has done with other teams.
Well, he's already have an interception with us. He already has an interception with us right now.
Yes, that is correct. So that helps. That we see it, what he can do. So that definitely helps. Arizona, I don't foresee there's going to be a concern. But going into that San Francisco game without Diggs, a guy that's had to watch and see San Francisco send him home, that was another chip that you had on your shoulder. I hope Bland has that same kind of chip going into that game. But you knew Diggs would have one. Along with the other guys that have had to get knocked out of the playoffs by the 49ers twice. So that's my only thing is we've got to have that same all the way from the front line to the back half of the defense. It's got to feel that same passion Diggs would have had when he went on the field that I'm not getting beat today.
Yes, and I think, I just feel that that's going to continue happening. Like I said, I wish I could just be more descriptive on exactly what it is that I feel is just different, but it's just a whole different vibe to me with this team.
Well, let's be honest. They go as Micah goes.
Yeah.
And that's just, I saw a quote this week.
The Micah Parsons effect.
Yeah, and the MPE is what's driving this team. And they even asked Dan Quinn, is he the straw that stirs the drink? And Dan Quinn tried to be politically correct and was like, well, he's definitely one of the straws. Absolutely not. He's the freaking straw, the glass, the ice, the liquid, the blender. Yeah. He's all of it. And as he goes, they go.
Yeah. Yep, he's one of those fancy roller coaster straws I enjoyed when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And so he's, now he's playing, I've already seen the quote, he's playing, I got you, brother. He's playing for Trey, and okay, cool. But that should terrify teams in and of itself too, because now I don't know that he can be more motivated than he already was.
Yeah. Well, see, this is a thing that I don't think, in my mind, in a fancy free world of how I think this thing really, really is defensively, this should terrify teams even more so at this point. But that's how much credit I'm willing to give to this defense right now. Again, it might be pie in the sky, but I would be even more terrified of this team right now.
Well, and the one thing I'm going to say about what Ron said a little bit ago about who we've played, and I get that, that
are they in the NFL?
Fair, and that's what I was going to say. But Garrett Wilson is him. I get it, he got, but when that one play, that long play happened to him, that wasn't against Trevon, it was against Gilmore. And so the Giants really don't have receivers. I think Jalen Hyatt will become something, but I don't, just like Troy said, they're all NFL players. So on the tier of receivers, of course, we haven't played somebody with 19 weapons like the 49ers have, because they have weapons coming out of the backfield and on the edges. So
exactly,
it is different talent level. I get that, but I want to get to a point to where, because I'm guilty of it too. Everybody's like, oh, congrats on being 2-0. I'm it was the Giants and the Jets. Settle down. Because we've been burnt by this team so much. And I think, it's just defense mechanisms.
Okay, so does your perspective change about this upcoming game any? About you think it's going to be a little bit of figuring out, or
No.
I still think it's going to be I think we're going to I still feel that we're going forward. We're going to be 4-0 going up against the 49ers in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Has your guys' thought process, even though I think the Patriots game is going to be a little more difficult than what people are going to think it's going to be. That's a terrible ass team. It really,
Unless
really
they
is.
get new offensive linemen between now and next Sunday, it is going to be terrible for Mac Jones. And that's the end. Unless they shore up their offensive line, no, it's not going to be any different. And it's going to be here too. That game is here.
Yes. Now, and salary cap world, and because everybody, there's also people. I've sent you guys a couple of posts about people saying, so Diggs is gone now, so who do we try and get now? Do we try to get anybody else? Is there anybody else available? Me, for one,
No.
I don't think there's anybody. Why would
You
we
can
get
go
anybody?
get somebody off of a practice squad, but you've got enough of that. I mean, if they're not good enough to be on the 53, do you really want to slot them into a starting role here?
Hell no.
So like even if, I mean, I don't think you do that yet until unless and I'm not even going to say it, like you just don't do it yet.
Yeah, there's
There's
nobody.
no need.
I don't think there's no need, and I don't think there's anybody available. I think those resources. I've been saying like every week now. I think that if we're going to try and shore up our offensive line with like a veteran that wants to come back and play, I'm down for that. But all this other stuff is the hard no for me at this particular time. What do you think, Ron?
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's to my knowledge, there's nobody out there. If you bring somebody in, that person's coming in on the back end of the team, and this team has been built to have the next guys that are in line to move up. I don't.
Yes, it's been built. It's just been built. And isn't this just so damn refreshing? I don't want to cut you off on that because you're making an excellent point. But I mean, isn't it just refreshing to see a team built the correct way?
Yeah.
After all the decade of the nonsense we went through, I just wanted to say that. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah. Just like the guy we picked up from the Dolphins. Anybody that I believe we're signing is going to come in from the bottom up. Guys are just going to get pushed forward. Mukamara, all those guys are on the team. Those guys are just going to move forward on the roster. I don't think you're going to see anybody getting signed that's going to jump into a number 2 and number 3 spot. They're going to come in and do back end depth help, and then everybody else in the roster is just going to move forward. That's how they built this team. Anybody goes down, the next man's going to come up, just like we saw with Bland. He stepped into slot. I think this team has been built the right way, and I can see, Troy, why you have the utmost confidence that we're not going to skip a beat. And someone like Dobbs, I'm not as concerned going this week. You asked the question how I feel. Does this change anything, especially for the upcoming game? No, because I don't think Josh Dobbs is the type of QB that's going to pick on a cornerback. He's not veteran enough where he's going to say, okay, I got Bland on this side, I'm going at him.
And even if he does, he doesn't have the weapons. Like, if Josh decided he wanted to pick on a corner, who are you going to pick on him with? Like,
exactly. I mean, it's like between the Cardinals and the Cowboys right now, it's like it's like two different spectrums. You got a team that's almost built to win, or trying to be built to win, and the other team is the complete opposite. They're built to lose. They're built to tank. I mean, and the Cardinals, that'll probably be an interesting story to talk about a couple of these seasons from now, because they're going to rebuild that whole damn thing with all them draft picks and everything. It's going to be pretty crazy, because it's like another approach to the thing, I guess. I mean, that I'm kind of against, and it's like the same with the Rams, how they do their things. And I don't want to sacrifice for that one Super Bowl, even though I want to build a dynasty. And I was like, I mean, yes, I know it's been 30 years or whatever with the Cowboys, but I would just be so damn sweet just to be able to win 2 or 3, and just have that decade of dominance versus just winning one and just disappearing into the night or whatever.
It's tough.
I'll take the one at this point.
It's tough.
I get it.
And it's just tough these days. Guys are just not sticking around as long anymore.
No.
Yeah, it's just not happening. Especially we got guys on this roster now with a lot of guys with 1 to 2 year deals right now. That if we were, to win the Super Bowl this year, you would see that, oh wow, we're gonna have a lot of guys on the back end of that roster. Like, oh, we're gonna have to resign them and bring.
I mean, you know what? I think, and it's just like weird with this team. Is like I think some of these players might actually stick around and might take a little bit of a pay cut to stick around because the culture is different than what it's been. There might be.
Good luck in this generation for guys taking pay cuts, especially on the back end of the roster.
I know. I just
maybe
think
a 12-year veteran that's trying to keep a check coming in, but these young guys, I doubt it.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. But like I said, you guys kind of heard like a couple of 3 different levels of it. You kind of heard like in the middle with Starstruck. You kind of heard panicky with Lisa Lee, and you kind of heard me kind of chill about it, Which I'm not gonna sit there and say that I didn't like raise my eyebrow up a little bit when the people's eyebrow might have came up and stuff once when I read that article. I was like, oh, but then I just calmed myself down, and I can't tell. I mean, 5 years ago, my reaction could have been 15,000 times different.
A year ago.
I was about to say, like,
yeah.
I don't like where these roles have changed. Like, I used to be the fun-loving, happy-go-lucky, things are going to be fine person, and now I'm not.
Yeah, I turned Zen, and I've kind of stayed there when it comes to Cowboys. It's just I mean, I'm a weird type of fan. It's like, I'm more productive if the Cowboys are not on. I'm not watching football typically. I mean, there's like some exclusions to the rule. Like I'll watch the game tonight because it's important to us, but it's like I don't put the investment in football like I used to. I mean, only the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sunday used to be it's football Sunday. Damn it, I'm not doing anything. But I'd rather the Cowboys aren't on. It's Sunday. I'd rather do some stuff with my kids or hang out or do a little project with Kaiser or do something like that. But it's just a little bit different for me now. It's like I feel because I used to be that crazy want to punch walls Cowboy fan years ago, and it ain't worth it. It just isn't. It really, really isn't. I mean, all the furniture leases them broke over the years. She told. I'm just kidding.
No, I did almost break my toe one time. That's how it all started.
Shit.
I tried to kick the air and I caught the bottom of a coffee table and I thought I broke my toe.
Yep, that'll do it. Because you're trying to hit the air hard as hell until something gets in the way of blocking it. That changes things. I've been there before. But I mean, I used to have this cowboy clock. It was made out of wood. Like my ex-father-in-law got it for me. It was a pretty cool ass clock. Had it for years, but I hold it in my hand as I watch the Cowboy game, and every time the Cowboys mess up, I punch that damn clock. So, it's just I'm just in a better place with it. It's just like I want the Cowboys to win, I want them to succeed, but I just can't. I can't get that emotionally invested in it to the point where I'm just like, oh Lord Jesus, I can't do that anymore. I just can't.
I'm not above it. I'm not above it at all.
So, with that said, again, we'd like to thank each and every one of you listening into our program. We really, really appreciate it. It's just us, some average Joe Schmoes and love Dallas Cowboy football and love talking about the game and stuff. I hope you guys enjoy our perspectives and what we think. We always look forward to hearing your feedback. You can send us an email at tscdallascowboypodcast@gmail.com. Do you happen to have any final words to people this week, Lisa?
I mean, honestly, like just watch the game on Sunday and just see what you see. Do the eye test. Like the guys are right. It's not like we're going from Trevon Diggs to Xavier Rhodes last year. Is that his name? Xavier Rhodes?
Or Troy, 270-pound Troy Hill suiting up to be your Dallas Cowboy cornerback for the rest of the year.
We're not going to have to suit up Aiden Diggs. Like Aiden's 7. Like it will be fine. And it's just going to, luckily, maybe the blessing in it, maybe this is the shift in my attitude. Maybe the blessing in it is that we do have some relatively easy games to kind of find your footing. You know what I mean? Like use the Cardinal game and use the Patriot game and then go in and beat the brakes off of the 49ers.
Yeah. And you just brought up an excellent point, Lisa. I mean, it maybe my panic level would be different if this is like we got the Niners coming up.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that changes things. That could change your thought process too. But we got 2 easily winnable games to figure some things out. So I don't think I think we're going to be okay. Any final words from you, Ron?
No, I think you're right. What you're saying, we've got the schedule favors us to, to get these guys in comfortable before we have something big that's going to come up in a couple of more weeks from now. So, yeah, I think it's a favorable schedule, and that's why I'm confident now. We get out there, we do what we got to do against Dobbs and the next week, Mac Jones, and be ready for the 49ers. We should have it right, within 2 weeks to know what we're working with and go from there.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Well, that's all we got for today. I just think that, the stings, it sucks, but just got to rub a little dirt on it and just keep on moving. That's all we can do. See you guys next time. And how about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?